What is going on, everybody? My name is Coated Steel, and welcome to your first tutorial of the C programming language. The reason I decided to do these tutorials was because I went through and I didn't find a very structured way of C programming. A lot of people kind of just jump from topic to topic and they don't cover the basics. I'm here to cover the basics of C programming and then going all the way up to pretty advanced, where we're going to be doing some kind of simple game development in the C programming language. The unfortunate part with C is it is pretty limited, but you can build some pretty cool games freehand by yourself in the C programming language. The first thing you're going to need to do to start C programming is to download a C compiler. I have this dev C++ compiler, which is a pretty decent compiler. It basically will take and convert code. Compiler is a program that converts a human code language that we can interpret into code language that a computer can interpret. So ones and zeros, basically. So we need to install this dev C++ compiler, which is pretty important. And to do this, you can go to my channel, and right under my About, I have a link posted for the dev C++ compiler. You can just click on it, and it's free to download. So when you download it, you can go ahead and hit the executable, and it'll install it to your computer for use. It just takes maybe about 5 or 6 minutes to install, and after that 5 or 6 minutes, you should get a symbol on your desktop that will look... Oh, I guess I don't have it on my desktop, but you guys probably can't see this. I have it under my menu. You could put an icon of it on your desktop so you have quicker access to it, which is probably what I would do. But anyways, you get a very nice compiler that's free. You don't have to pay any money for it, and it'll allow you a lot of the capabilities. You can C and C++ program in this compiler. So basically, let's see, I should have enough time to go ahead and, yeah, I wanted to start by explaining how a compiler works. So a compiler is, as I mentioned before, a piece of software that is capable of turning human code, language that we can understand, into ones and zeros that a computer can understand. So while we see words like maybe, I don't know, let's see, the hat is brown, something like that, and the cookie is soft, that chicken is awesome. I don't know, I'm starting to get into food. I'm making myself hungry. But anyway, the important part is the compiler, when you compile this code, it will take and it will transform all of the stuff into stuff like this. And then it'll continuously do a string of numbers like this. And that's how the computer determines how it's going to react based on the code. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a little confusing. If one of you posts on my page saying you want to understand more about how a computer does this on the atomic level, then I'll go into it. But other than that, let's just get into some simple programming. So basically, the first thing you need to do to start programming is you need to include this directory. Sorry, screwed up. And what this directory will do is, this is your main C library. This is the C standard library. It has all of the printing console functions and etc. So this is like what you would call the C standard library. Oh, and in case you guys don't know, which some of you might not if you're less programming experienced, a double slash mark is how you make a comment in the C programming language. So basically just follow what I do, and I'll try to explain a lot of it to you. And then the next thing you need is something called the main function. Now, this is another thing, just copy and I'll explain. Basically, what happens inside of the main function is that C will look for this specific function, it's called in C, and it will start running code from there. So when it sees this, it goes ahead and goes, oh, this is where I need to start. This is where I need to begin. Okay, cool. And then it will start executing lines of code. This is, without this function, you are incapable of running any programs in the C programming language. This is a necessary function. There are certain exceptions in like the Windows library, but we won't get into any of that. Anyways, this is, to your knowledge, what you need to know is the primary function for programming. So, anyways, we're going to do a simple print statement, which is the easiest thing that you can do in the C programming language. And the way we do that is it's a special line of code called printf. And what this does is it will print something to the console. This is a predefined function that will take a line of code or a string of letters and whatever else, and it will print it out on the console. So I'm going to print out the most famous keyword ever, the Hello World program. Some of you may have heard of this, some of you may have not. Anyways, this is the most basic code you will ever build in your entire life. Trust me, it doesn't get any easier than this. And then we do something when we're done. We do something called, oh, I'm forgetting something. Another thing you need to include is the GetCharacter function. This is a special function that pauses the screen. If we didn't have this here, we would be incapable of pausing the screen. The screen would just flash and then it would exit. Here, I'll actually show you guys that. Show you guys why you need that function. So, if you guys see, the window flashed up for a few seconds and then it immediately exited. That's because it had no way of pausing it. So that's why this function is necessary. It's called the GetCharacter function, and if I could type, that would be nice. Okay, now what this will do is this pauses the screen. So here you guys go. As you can see, maybe a little difficult to see, but you can see Hello World is printed right there on the screen, and then there's a blinking cursor right next to it. So this is what is called in Windows the command line, and it's DOS based. DOS was, it's what Windows was originally written in. So basically this compiler that we use is going to interact with the DOS program that you have running in the background of your Windows. So anyways, there you have it. This is the most basic code you'll ever build in the C programming language. For those of you more experienced programmers that might be watching this, I promise you it'll get better than this. This is just an introduction for people who don't know anything about programming. Introduction to primarily the main function, which is necessary in all code. This is the most essential function ever. You need to have this in every line of code. And this is the C standard library directory, which is another necessity for the C programming language. It's absolutely necessary. You need to have it. Obviously, this, like I was saying before, is how you print to the console window. And then this pauses the screen so we can read it. Again, guys, without this function, the screen would just flash and it would go away. So this is a necessary. It pauses the screen. Anyways, so this is how you do the most basic code there is. If you guys have any questions, post below or leave a comment on my channel. Okay, thanks, and see you in the next tutorial.